not eating. So I was like, I need to eat. I was thinking, no, I just don't sit right. So I literally just inhaled a bar and just, I've been quite busy. So I'm glad to actually sit down now. So it feels good.
You can relax for a minute.
How are you?
45 minutes. Let me just introduce you actually, because I haven't introduced you yet. So we have the gorgeous LENA Queen joining me today. You're actually my first ever podcast interviewer for my new podcast.
Love it. I feel special.
How exciting. You're a VIP.
Yeah.
Always a VIP. So should we just get straight into it? Let's get straight into it, because I've got so many things I want to talk to you about. So before we go into kind of like the specific topics we're going to cover today, before we go into that, give us a bit of a background about yourself. Let us know who you are. People that are listening who don't know who LENA Queen is, talk to us.
Okay, so hi. I'm LENA, and okay, so where do I start? I've had quite an eventful life, to be honest.
Start from the very beginning.
Start from the beginning. Okay. So I was born in Southeast London, and I've got a little boy who is 14. So I say little boy, but he's not little. I had him at a very young age. I was only 18, and I actually moved away to Scotland for a fresh start. And I started working up there as a beauty therapist. So I've been a beauty therapist for do you want to ask me a question?
Yeah. Why Scotland? Why Scotland out of everywhere?
Okay. So I was having a bit of a hard time. I was having a bit of a breakdown, but I didn't even know I was having a breakdown. So I went and stayed there for about 6 weeks because I had an aunt up there.
Yeah.
And it was actually when the ash cloud, do you remember the ash cloud?
Yes.
Yeah, no one could travel. So I was only meant to be up there for 2 weeks, and I ended up being up there for like double the time. Oh, wow. And I've always been a Londoner. I love London. London's one of my favorite places, and I've never ever in a million years thought I'd move out of London. Anyway, when I went to Scotland, it was actually Shetland, not even Scotland. It was like the furthest I could get away, the better.
Yeah.
And so literally in the middle of the North Sea, and what a beautiful, beautiful place in the world. I would recommend it to anybody, just maybe not in the winter time.
It's so cold, isn't it?
It's not even the cold, it's the winds. Like there's no point in your hair, no point doing your makeup, because as soon as you get outside, that's it, it's gone.
Wiped away.
Literally wiped away. But yeah, so I saw like a different way of life. Mm-hmm. So it's completely different from London. And I just thought, you know what, it would be amazing to bring Frankie up here. Like I was in quite a rough estate in Southeast London, rough estate in London. I was going to just drop names then, but and then
you can drop names, it's fine.
Yeah. So it was Peaks Estate, so it's known as quite a rough place, but actually like I fitted in quite well for some reason. So when I saw what I could give Frankie, I was like, when I went back to London, like I just saw the world in a different way, and I thought, I don't think I want to live here. And it was the weirdest feeling ever. And I felt inside me that there was something more. So my aunt actually said, like, if you want, you can actually come and stay with me. And I just literally got up and left. I took that opportunity with both hands. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, actually. I left my boyfriend at the time. I literally just up sticks and moved away. And it was the best thing I ever did. And it basically saved my life. Like,
yeah.
So that's why I moved.
Yeah, amazing. Sometimes you just know though, don't you? Like you just get a feeling, and like we'll talk about this a little bit later, but you get that intuitive feeling, don't you, where you're just like, no, this is what I need to do, and you just got to follow it.
Yeah, definitely. And I went to college when I was 17 and studied beauty therapy, and then I found out I was pregnant, so I actually left and went back. But when I finished college after Frankie was born, I couldn't get a job for 2 years. I couldn't get a job. As soon as I moved to Shetland, I got a job within a couple of months. So I was like, okay. So I worked as a beauty therapist up there, and I was a beauty therapist ever since. Always done that, but I've always felt like there was something more for me. Mm-hmm. so I'm still doing the beauty, but I have created a lot more other things now,
Yeah.
which I'm excited about.
Oh my gosh, we're going to talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you to talk about as well. So you went to Scotland and then been doing beauty.
Yeah.
And then we met. So when did we meet? 2 years ago or a year ago?
It's quite funny because, right, so the first time I think you thought you met me was on our call with Mandy, but I met you briefly for a mutual friend, Rachel, on her birthday, but I had to shoot back to Hertfordshire because that's where I live now. So you girls went out for a meal and I quickly had a cocktail and shot off. So I met you a few years ago, but yeah.
So that was, I do remember that now. So that was January 2020. That was. Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
So yeah, and then so then we then met again on Zoom when we were having an introductory call to a coaching program, which we both signed up for because of Rachel. So Rachel, our mutual friend Rachel, had already done, well, she'd already just joined. I think she'd only been doing it for a couple of weeks, but she was like, this is like mind-blowing stuff. You guys need to get involved. And we both just happened to be at a time in our lives where we needed that and we were looking for that. And so we ended up on this introductory call together, and then we started this program, Thinking into Results, with Mandy. And that was the start of like our friendship. So before we go into that, like what brought you to that coaching program? Because I feel like if you're anything like me, which I know you are, you have to be like at a certain place in your life, like I was just saying, where you know that you need that extra help. Like even if you've done a load of personal development before on your own, and even if you've like, you know, you've done a lot of work on yourself, it gets to a point where you know you need like an extra hand and extra guidance. So what was it that got you to that point where you were like, right, this is it now, I need to take that next level?
So totally agree with everything you just said then, by the way. Well, lockdown happened. So I'm a self-employed beauty therapist, run my own business. I've run my own business for 7 years. Literally lockdown happened. Then I had no business. I had nothing, you know, like business-wise. So I took that opportunity to work on myself, and I knew there was something there for me. So I started looking at coaches. So I was looking at all these coaches, and then I really connected with this coach called LENA or something like that. And she was offering her program for $1,000, and I had $1,000 left in my account. That is literally all I had. I was put on universal credit, which obviously I'm very grateful for, but I had $1,000 left, and this course was $1,000. So I phoned my friend Rachel, and I was like, I need some advice on this, because I knew I wanted to work on myself, but I just needed a little bit of guidance. And I said, Rach, right, I need you to help me here. I've got $1,000, but this is literally all I have left. But I know I need to invest in myself to get myself through whatever I need to get through. And then she's like, oh, well, I've actually started working with a coach from the past 2 weeks, and it's worth its money in gold already. Like I'll be happy to walk away now. And I thought, I want what she's got, like 2 weeks, and she's already made a massive difference. And then I thought, okay, let me talk to this coach as well. And that's when it started. She put me in contact with Mandy. We had a conversation. And then I knew I wanted to work with Mandy. However, the cost was like more than quadruple the cost.
Yeah. It was a lot for us to, I think, get to grips with at the start, wasn't it? Because like neither of us had invested that amount of money in ourselves before. Like
Never.
So when we found out the total cost, we were like, really?
Yeah.
Oh God.
I didn't even know people even spent that money on themselves. And I literally was going through this really weird fight with myself. I cried. I was making up all this sort of stories in my head. I was saying, oh, like you're going to get scammed, or like loads of stuff was going through my head. But the other side was like, Lena, this is going to change your life.
Yeah.
Didn't know how, and I didn't know why, but I just knew I needed to be on this course.
Yeah.
But I just was like, I can't pay that money. And then Mandy was like, she actually took my last £1,000, because it was actually 2,500 deposit, and I felt embarrassed. I was like, but I haven't even got that.
Mm.
Because she went, well, what's stopping you? I was like, do you know what? I'm just gonna be honest with you. I got £1,000.
Yeah.
She was like, well, I'll take that £1,000. I was like, oh, shit. She said she'll take the £1,000. The part of me was like, she was like, okay, no worries. Just you save your money and come back to me and save your money. So I was like, oh my God,
yeah,
I'm gonna have to do this now.
yeah.
And when I transferred that money over, it was like I wanted to throw my phone out the window. I was like, oh my God, I've done it.
Yeah. But did you have that feeling like when you spoke to her? Because when I spoke to her, I had an instant feeling that I was like, I need to work with you. It was that intuitive feeling again.
Yeah, I don't cry. Like I've cried more recently than I have done in my whole entire life. And she got me crying on the phone, and I was like, this woman knows my pain. She knows what I need to do. Like it was like a half an hour call, and I connected with her in that time, and it was like I just knew she could bring out me what I need to bring out myself, if that makes sense. She can get this out of me.
Yeah, I felt exactly the same. And like we don't need to go into details about like what we learned on the course or anything, but just for those people that are listening, an overview is that it's all based, the course is called Thinking Onto Results, and it's all based on Bob Proctor's teachings, isn't it? And if you don't know who Bob Proctor is, just Google Bob Proctor. But he's like, we like to call him like the godfather of personal development. He's what, 80? Is he like 82, 83 or something now? Like something like that. And he's still coaches people. Like you've been on calls with him. I did that following program after TIR, didn't I? I did a 3-month program with him directly, and like the material that we learned has just been like insane, and it has quite literally changed our lives, right? Like you'll back me up in when I say that.
Completely. I never, and especially at the start when you're having all these fights with yourself, like, is this the right decision? Literally, when you start seeing the change you're making, you think, oh my God, I can't believe how much my life has changed from doing a 6-month course. And he's incredible. He's still creating programs now at his age.
Yeah.
You know, he's just incredible. I could speak about him quite a while.
I know, it's mad. I just want to touch on actually, like, what's your thoughts surrounding like investing in yourself? Because I think this is such like a big topic, isn't it? And I think like you were just saying, like when you first had that call with Mandy and you found out the cost of the program and all that kind of stuff, initially you were like, Jesus Christ, can't fucking spend that money. Like that was your initial thought. And I was the same, because we hadn't ever invested such a big amount in ourselves. But when you see the results, you know, obviously it's worth it. So, you know, if there's people listening who are like maybe having that argument in their head about investing in anything, whether it's a coaching program, whether it's a personal trainer, whether it's in a business, like whatever, like what's your thoughts surrounding that? What advice would you give people?
Sorry, the first thing that comes to my head is literally, if you took the money away, would you go for it? So if you didn't have to, like, would you go for that course if you didn't have to pay the money? Then yes, you need to invest in yourself. To get value, to make change in your life, you have to make an exchange. Everything's got an exchange. It's like if you buy a car, you know, you pay money for that car. If you're buying a pair of shoes, nothing's free in this life. And if you know inside of you that you want to make change, you need that extra support with the right people who have expertise in that area. So, you know, if you look at football teams, like they need a coach, they need a manager to get them to where some are good, some are bad. You know, if you look at Manchester United, I won't go too much into that, but
you're such a football fan, aren't you?
I am. I can't help it. So if you look at the Olympians, if you look at anyone who wants to get to a certain place of life, they need that support. And yes, it might seem a lot, or it might seem strange at the time that you've got, you know, like the money that you pay, but you are going to get an investment out of that. You are investing in yourself. I think like investing in yourself is like, are you worth it? You are totally worth it. Am I worth this time and money and effort? Yes, I totally am. So that's what you got to ask yourself. Like, what do I think of myself? You know, how much do you really want something? And I'm telling you, like, it's not easy and it's not comfortable, because change is uncomfortable. As a human, we don't like change, but nothing changes if nothing changes. So you can't expect to grow. You can't expect anything to change if you're not willing to put money, time, commitment aside to make that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Totally. I could not agree more. And everything is energy anyway, isn't it? Like everything is energy. So whatever energy you're putting out there, like, you know, if you're coming out with this positive energy and you like, you're willing and you want to invest and you know, you have that mindset where you're like, no, I'm going to make this work for me, it will work for you. But if you go in with a mindset where you're like, oh, maybe I'll pay the money, I suppose I can afford it, but it's probably not going to work. Obviously it's not going to work. Like you have to be there like 100% mentally, don't you, in order to receive those, you know, to receive those rewards. And you have to be willing to go through that uncomfortable time period. Like over that 6 months where we were doing that program, there was a lot of ups and downs for us, right? Like it was emotional, there was times when it was really fucking draining. Because we were digging deep into our subconscious mind where we didn't even know there was shit going on. Like, you know, it takes it out of you, but you have to go through that process to get out on the other end, even though it can be fucking hard.
Yeah, it's not easy,
No.
but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Like it is not easy.
No.
It isn't, but it's totally like I'm so grateful, and I'd pay for it all over again.
Yeah.
Still paying for it now, to be honest.
Still paying off that £10 a month.
Probably going to take me 100 years.
It's fine though, it'll be worth it. Yeah. So okay, so during that 6 months, obviously we dug deep into ourselves and we, you know, we got a lot of new ideas about our life and where we want to go and all that kind of thing. And I know that for you, that 6 months 100% took you to create something pretty special. So you've created Soul Family. Now, just without going into too much detail yet, just give like a brief overview on what Soul Family is.
So Soul Family is creating family-like relationships that you feel missing in your life. Mm-hmm. So what I do, I match you with someone that you feel is missing. So whether that may be a brother you've always wanted, an uncle, a grandfather, a grandmother, you'll come to me, we'll go through a profile, and then I'll match you with another profile that I feel would add value to you. You both add value to each other's lives.
I love that. And I think that's such an incredible, like, it's such a unique thing because, and I think it's also something which is like really kind of unspoken about to a certain extent. I'm going to come back to that in a sec, but so obviously you've been through some stuff, right? You've been through some shit in your life, which has obviously led you to want to create that. And I know from speaking to you, especially recently, loneliness has been like a massive, massive topic surrounding the whole Soul Family creation and your own personal experiences and all of that. So do you just want to talk about that a little bit and how you kind of got to where you are?
Yeah, definitely. So just kind of going back to why I did the coaching in the first place was because I wanted to connect with my purpose. Mm-hmm. So like I've done so much work behind it, read books, listened to podcasts, just I've always felt that I was made for more and I didn't know what it was. I looked at personal training, I looked at PE teaching, I looked at a firefighter, I looked at accountancy. See where this is going? Like I was just like
firefighter, accountancy.
Totally different spectrums, but I just knew there was something. I was thinking about what do I enjoy? Maybe I'll find it there. Mm-hmm. So I went to the coach because I just need to find my purpose. I just want to find what is my purpose in life. Mm-hmm. So literally, as I've done the work, I was sitting at my table one day and I just thought about my dad and I've always wanted a relationship with my dad. Like my dad's here. It's just a very complicated story. But I've always wanted a relationship with him. I still, even today, you know. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, imagine if you could like adopt a dad and then literally something just ignited inside me, something just sparked. And then I was like, oh, I really want to play with this. And again, like this comes from not having that relationship, feeling rejected, feeling not loved, and like just, you know, feeling that loneliness, like not feeling part of that. And that's where like soul family comes from. It comes from feelings of loneliness, and it comes from not having a relationship with my dad. And loneliness is a crisis. It was a crisis even before the pandemic, before coronavirus, and it's even worse now.
Yeah.
And you know, everyone, like all types of people can go through it, and it's okay if you don't go through it either. But when you do have those feelings, they're one of the hardest feelings that you suffer with alone. And you know, the studies are really high at the moment, and that's people actually admitting their loneliness. So can you imagine how much higher it would be?
Yeah.
So yes, I think, you know, I just want to bring more awareness to loneliness, and bring more awareness to people who actually do feel isolated from their families, and people who do feel alone, and just bring them like more fulfillment and more belonging.
Yeah, I love that. I've never suffered like drastically or anything like that from loneliness as such, but I can definitely like think of situations in my life where like I used to get quite anxious quite a lot, like maybe like 5-6 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, but I had quite bad anxiety, which would just come like, which had been like triggered from like past relationships and all that kind of stuff that, you know, quite normal things, which is, you know, a lot of people go through. And I just remember times where I've like been sitting in a room full of people and like you just feel like there's no one else around you, like, and if I have felt that kind of loneliness, like where there's not really anything for me to be lonely about, and if you know what I mean, like it's not been anything like really tragic that's happened in my life or anything like that, if I can feel that way, like I can only imagine like what you've been through, like with all the stuff with your dad and what all these other people are going through who you're now bringing together in your community. Like I just think it's amazing. And I think it's also great that like more people are starting to talk about it now a little bit, aren't they? I think like over the last couple of years, especially with lockdown, like mental health in general has become so much more spoken about, which is incredible, but it's still really not spoken about enough, I don't think. So for me, like if anyone is going to create something which is going to help that and help people talk and help people communicate and make people happier at the end of the day, right? That's what you want to be doing. Then how can you go wrong with that?
Yeah, exactly. I agree with everything you just said. And you know, the communication, that connection, we need connection. We need belonging, like we need it, but it goes a bit deeper than that. So like loneliness it's very vast. We all can suffer with it in different ways. Sometimes I don't like to say the word suffer, but we all feel it in different ways. So you know, I've got a client who only feels lonely when she's at home. But when she's out, when she's with her friends, she's fine. See, I felt lonely when I was around people and on my own. And you know, so there's total different types of it. And I think it's bringing the awareness to it. So when I was lonely, I had friends, I had family, but I couldn't say I was lonely to them because I didn't want to offend them because they were there. So how can you be lonely when I'm here? And I was but that was in my own head. We can speak to people. Speaking to the right people, having the right support around us can make such a difference. And it is uncomfortable. It really is. But once you start talking, that person could actually resonate with you and be like, you know what, Lena, I feel the same. And then we can start talking about it. And this is why, like with Soul Family, like I'm so passionate about it. It is a non-profit organization, so I don't earn any money from it at all. But it's more than that. I want people to feel part of something. I want people to feel that connection. I want people to have something to look forward to and have fun and make memories, you know. So you know, I've created this making memory meetups where I will have someone on, whether it be like cooking, we'll have a cooking class or we'll have an art class. And tonight we've actually got one, and it's a self-love workshop. It's a mutual friend, our friend Kelly, who is a self-love coach. I've got quite a few people interested in that, and I'm so looking forward to it. And it's not even just about learning something new, it's about all coming together, having something in the diary. I can't wait for that next week. We're all coming together and just having fun, you know. So connection, I just think, is really, really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I love, like, I can hear like the passion in your voice, and like when you're speaking, like you're like grinning, like ear to ear. I love that. And that just shows, like, that shows that you are speaking your truth, you're speaking your purpose, you're speaking that person that you have been put here to be. Like, that's how you know, isn't it? That's how you know, when you speak and you have so much passion and love and, you know, just desire around something. That's when you know you're here to do, like, you're doing what you're here to do, basically.
Thank you, darling. And you know what? Like, I've never felt like this, Nat. And I know we're quite close friends anyway, outside of, you know, business and
Yeah.
whatnot. And I will say, like, I've always wanted to feel this way, but I didn't even know what that feeling was. I've never, ever felt so fulfilled in my whole entire life.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that I've done the work. And sometimes it's actually our pain that becomes our productivity. And a lot of the time, our purpose is actually, do you know what? I think our purpose is our life. This is our purpose. Just being here is our purpose. And it's always been here. I didn't need to find it out there. I was doing all this work. It came to me sitting at a bloody dinner table thinking about my dad. Like, I weren't even doing the work, you know. So it's like, just allow that, like, to come to you. And honestly, it's the most beautiful feeling ever. And if you are out there who is really trying to connect with your purpose, just give yourself a little bit of a break and just connect more with yourself. I feel like the more I've connected with myself, that's how I've connected with my purpose, because my purpose was within me all along. It's not outside of you, it's actually here all along. And once you get that, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that so much. And I think that's such a key point, what you were just saying about just, like, give yourself a break, stop looking for it. Like, it's like anything in life, right? If you're looking for a relationship, you're never going to find one. If you're looking for your dream job, you're never going to find it. You know, if you're looking and all your focus is on looking, and, you know, that desperation, you don't find it, because you're coming from a place of lack. You're coming from that place of, like, I don't have it yet, where is it? And because you're coming from that place of lack, all you're doing is pushing it away. So the minute you stop and just breathe, and just, like you said, just let yourself kind of be and let go of that kind of emotional attachment, right, to the outcome of whatever's happening. When you get to that point, it just comes. Like, do you remember, just to touch briefly on my app story, when I think I told you about this, I'm not sure if I told you about this, but, you know, I said, like, a year and a half ago that I wanted to create my own app. And at the start, I was, like, really thinking about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And nothing was coming from it. And I was finding, like, all these different people who maybe could have helped me, but I was like, oh no, I don't want to invest that much in that right now. I want to wait, So nothing was working out. And then I literally forgot about it. And then about a year and a half later, just over a year later, I was on a call with somebody about something else, not related at all. And she was like, oh, why don't you create this? I can hook you up with this person. You can do it like this, like this, like this, like this. And now I've got an app. And it didn't, like, cross my mind until, like, a while later, where I was like, hang on a minute, I wanted to do this. I forgot that I wanted that. And because I'd let go and I just kind of let the universe do its thing, and I followed my path, you know, where I was meant to be going, it just falls into your lap. And that's what happened with you. Like, I remember when we were doing TIR, and we had our mastermind group, which we were the same mastermind every week. And, like, you had lots of different ideas of what you wanted to be doing, like, because you've got a beautiful voice, you're a singer. That was a focus for a bit of time. You're like, oh, maybe I want to do that. Then you were bringing your focus back to your beauty stuff. I want to expand that. I'm going to do this, going to do that. And then it was a while into it where you were like, boom, you had this idea, because you'd obviously done that work on yourself to allow it in, which is amazing. What do you, sorry, I just went off on one then for about.
No, it's fine. I'm loving it. I'm loving it, darling. Don't you worry about that.
We're so passionate about it.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to not say too much, actually. I'm like, right, let me just, because we could go on.
I know, we'll be here till bloody tomorrow night if we carry on. Speaking of allowing and, like, letting stuff in, because, like, for us, this is like normal lingo.
Yes.
Like, oh yeah, just allow it, let it in.
Yeah, let the universe do its work.
Yeah, but for your average Joe, maybe who's listening, they're like, what the hell do you mean? How do I allow? How do I connect with myself? Like, what does that even mean? So what do you do to get into that state?
So I say to myself now, wherever I am, I'm meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever I am right now, I'm meant to be. And it's like, if I'm pushing, if I'm feeling an uncomfortability, if I'm like, I need, it's like a beg, like I need, that's just wrong. I need to take a step back
Yeah.
and just sit and just literally, sometimes you just got to take a step back and just take a breath.
Yeah.
Or give yourself a bit of time and actually maybe like write down what do you want.
Mm-hmm.
What do you really want in your life, but really relax with it, don't push it.
Yeah.
As you said, like letting it go. I'm still learning to do that myself. And yeah, sometimes obviously we have our own lingo, and when you do this work, you do pick up, it becomes normal to you. But obviously if you're listening and you are completely on, you know, at the first stage of this journey, then I would say just really just sit with yourself, get a pen, get a bit of paper, and just write down the question, what do I want? And it's uncomfortable, but as you start writing, just more and more and more just comes out.
Yeah.
And then you can just believe that if that is what you really want, it will come to you, but it will come at the right time.
Yeah.
Like sometimes things come like that, some things take a bit longer. And we ask ourselves, well, how comes Nat's done all this in this amount of time and I'm still pushing? Because that's like Soul Family for a long time. I've been working on this for a year.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I should be doing more, and I was like, no, this is meant to be working the way it's meant to be working.
Yeah.
So whatever stage you are at your life, you are meant to be now, but it will get better and better. You just have to believe and have faith that you are going to have the life that you want.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I feel like have I answered that question?
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, you went off on a tangent, but as always, we love that. That's, you know, that's perfect. But it's so true. And you have to remember as well, like if you're not in alignment with something, it's not gonna happen. And you know, whether you're in alignment or not isn't a good thing or a bad thing. Like, you know, you just have to get to a certain point in your life or a certain time of what, you know, whatever's happening in order for you to attract that into your life. Like, you know, my personal training stuff and all of that happened quite quickly. But remember, I spent 5 years building an events and marketing business, which I thought was my life. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I was like, no, this doesn't feel right anymore. Done. Yeah. Literally over it. And then I started totally again. So, you know, there's never a right time or whatever. You just get that feeling of, you know, you're ready for something new or you want to create something new, and you just got to roll with it. And you have to trust that, like you said, everything will come at the right time. And if it's not coming for a reason, and just, you got to ride it out.
Can I touch on that as well? Like, hats off to you as well, you know, building a company for 5 years and then it not resonate with you anymore and you starting something new. Yeah. So you was very in touch with your guidance, your intuition, and how you feel. Yeah. There's a lot of people out there that are so, I was going to swear.
I've sworn about 5,000 times.
Okay, so fucking unhappy in their job, and they know they shouldn't be there. Yeah. If it don't feel right, it's because it ain't. Yeah. So if something in your life doesn't feel right now, it's not right. Yeah. And go that. I've had that a lot with bloody ex-partners and all sorts. Like, I knew it was wrong. I knew I had this gut feeling. Yeah. And you know what? I've got an amazing intuition and I'm stepping into that now. And we kind of know that anyway. Yeah. I had an ex and I knew he was bad news. Yeah. Stayed with him. Then I've got another thing that happens and another. So it's like nudge. It's like, okay, so when are you going to listen, Lena? Yeah. Well, how much more do we need to give you? Yeah. So if you're getting that right now, if you're getting one thing after another happen, listen, like stop. Yeah. What message am I getting here? Yeah. And I know, without sounding too woo-woo, when you feel out of an alignment, it's because you are. Totally. when you feel like shit, it's a good thing in a way, because it shows you this isn't your life. This isn't, you're feeling like shit, or things ain't going right, and you feel a certain way about it, because this is not the life you're meant to be leading. When something feels good, keep going, keep that good feeling. When I've never felt so aligned in my whole entire life, and it's because I'm following my guidance. I'll see something and I'll be like, oh, maybe I'll call that person, or I need to reach out to this person, and it always works out. So whatever feels good to you, if you're in an area and you're like, oh, this feels great to me, maybe I'll come back here, you might end up moving there. If you go past a building and you think that looks really interesting, go and have a look. You know what's happened to me? There was a building in Letchworth, near where I live in Letchworth, right? It's yellow. I thought, that looks interesting, let me just go over there. Anyway, it's called the Community Hub. So this place is a community interest company which helps people into employment, but they don't just do that, they help with mindfulness and a lot of other stuff. Anyway, I was going to go and I thought, what do I say? Oh, hello, I'm Lena, I've just created a project called Soul Family. I just thought I'd say hi. Like, I was near the door. I was like, I walked past it a couple of times, and then I thought, oh shit. So anyway, I ended up going in there in the end. The guy who owns it wasn't there. So the guy who was there gave me his like details, and I thought, thank you so much. And I just thought, let me just reach out to this guy. Anyway, reached out to him. He's been helping me with putting Soul Family together, in the sense of like guidelines and safeguarding, all the stuff that I really don't like doing. And I started speaking to him about loneliness, and he was like, yeah, he got really passionate about and got into a conversation with me, and now we're going to do a loneliness project together. You know, I went there first to talk about how do you set up a CIC, a community interest company. If you want to do something, talk to people who are already doing it. So I thought, let me do that. And look where it's led. Like, this is leading somewhere completely different to what I thought. So trust that guidance. When you find something that interests you, look into it a little bit more. Don't stop there. If you're not happy in your job, start doing hobbies, start doing things that you are interested in, and then you'll start meeting people, and then doors will start opening for you.
Sorry, I love that. That's amazing. That's such a cool story. And it just also shows, like, you have to be open to things going in other directions as well, isn't it? Like, you went there with one aim, and something else has come out of it, which is even bigger and better, really.
Yeah, literally. Even the whole loneliness thing, right? So basically I'm going to be doing, sorry, someone's calling me at the same time. I'm going to be, I'm doing loneliness coaching. I've started it already, and I'm going to be stepping more into it next year. But this has come from, Soul Family is my world. Soul Family is what I'm bringing to the world, and there's going to be so many beautiful family relationships that are going to be created from this. The loneliness coaching just sprung out of nowhere, and this is what I'm going to be doing on a day-to-day basis. And I'm open to opportunities. So it's just saying to yourself, I'm open to opportunities, and let it go, and then you will be surprised what comes to you. Even now I'm like, oh my God, like, this is a weird but wonderful world that we live in. And I would say, like, never underestimate what you're capable of, and never underestimate what you can achieve, and what, like, people that will come into your life. Really be open.
I love that. It's all about being open, isn't it? And just like just accepting that sometimes shit happens, and sometimes things don't go your way, and sometimes you can feel like you're in a really fucking shit place, can't you? And I think you have to get to a certain place within yourself to be at a point where, when that happens, you can kind of, like, I feel like I'm at this place now, and I think you're at this place now 100%. Like, you know, if we are going through something which maybe is challenging, it's like you kind of just have to let yourself feel those feelings. Don't, like, avoid those feelings. Let yourself feel them. If you need to cry. Like, we spoke about this, was it yesterday, I think? And you know, I was telling you about a story from a few weeks ago where I just kept crying. I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, there was nothing even specific really happening, like, but there was old stuff being triggered in my mind from like past experiences which I was dealing with. Totally going off topic here, but I let myself feel those feelings. But what the difference is you let yourself feel those feelings, but you quickly get yourself out of it. So like you release it and then you get out of it and you get back, you consciously get back into that state of being in a higher vibration so that you can start attracting the good stuff.
Yeah.
Because the longer you stay in that like low vibe and like feeling sorry for yourself, and which happens, obviously we're all human beings, but the longer you stay in that kind of vibration, you're just going to keep attracting shit. And I just, you know, I'm so passionate about this because when you see people that you care about who are going through stuff and you just want to like really help them, but until you understand that and kind of get to that point yourself, it's hard, isn't it? You can't, it's like you can what's the saying, you can lead a horse to water but you can't force it to drink. It's that.
Yeah, and you know what, it's the most frustrating thing, but
it's
I know
sad. It makes me sad.
People say to me, it really does, because you know what, I see that, you know me, Nat, as well, I see the good in everyone and I see potential, and I realize as well that that there must be something inside me as well, that I see that gift in people. And oh God, my story, like I could go on for ages, but my wherever you are at the moment, even if you're upset or you're going through a challenge, it is part of your life and it's temporary. You have to keep telling yourself it's temporary. I am so grateful for all the adversity that I went through. I'm grateful for my dad rejecting me. I'm grateful for the loneliness that I felt. I'm grateful for the shit I went through as a child. I'm grateful, you know, I never thought I would say that in a million years. And, you know, this is what's got to me to this point now. And sometimes, you know what, life ain't fair sometimes, but you never know where that unfairness brings you to. And oh God, I forgot what I was going to say now. So yeah, you might come from a really hard background. I came from nothing, and I've had an eventful life. I used to do quite a lot of different things, and
quite a lot of different things.
Yeah, so it's quite a lot of different things that probably and even people see me and they're like, because like, oh my God, Lena, you've changed so much, blah 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 blah, and it just shows you, like, no matter where you come from, you can still make something of yourself. And you know what, when we're children, we aren't in control, and we're not. And you know what, it can be hard for a lot of us, especially when we're brought up in a certain way. It's not easy, but I tell you something, when you get to an adult, okay, you are in control. So you need to really think, I'm actually in control of my life now. I'm not going to let my childhood control my life. I'm in control. I'm in control of my own path. I'm in control of what I want to do. And you know, if you're actually going to sit there and blame everyone else for your problems, that's always where you're going to be, because no one's going to come and save you. No one is coming to save you. You're the only one that can save you. You are the only one in control of what you want. So if you want to have a particular life, you can do it. You've just got to do it for yourself and not expect people to do it for you, because it ain't going to happen.
I could not agree more. I honestly could not agree more. And I think it all comes down to as well, like, you know, this might sound a bit blunt and a bit harsh, but just taking responsibility. Like, you know, it's not even just about your childhood, is it? Like, yes, obviously childhood stuff affects you dramatically as you're growing up, for sure, without you even realizing it a lot of the time. But also just like, you know, external factors. So no matter how old you are, whether you're 10 or 20 or 50 or 60 or 70, like whatever, you will always be in a situation where you could let whatever is happening around you control your life. You could, but you don't have to. And the sooner you like take responsibility for, do you know what, how I feel is actually my responsibility. It's not because that's happened or that's happened or that's happened. I'm going to choose to respond in a certain way so that I don't feel like shit all the time, or that I'm going to make myself feel a little bit better a little bit every day. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to recognize that all comes from you.
Oh my God, 100%.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, everyone goes, like you said, everyone goes through shit. Life isn't always fair. You know,
No.
I've not been through what you've been through, but I've been through other shit in my life, which has been horrendous. Like, we've all been there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you have to kind of just have that light bulb moment, don't you, where you go, right, that's it. I'm not gonna be feeling like this anymore. I'm gonna sort my shit out, and I'm gonna feel good. And
Yeah,
that's
definitely. Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing as well. I think like the sooner we realize that it's all within us, the better.
Yeah.
When I realized that, it's like a light bulb moment. It's like, oh shit, it
Yeah.
really does come from within you. And
Yeah.
I didn't get it for so long. I didn't get it for so long. So I would just say, like, to anyone who's like listening and wants to do something and like wants to find their purpose and wants to know that they're made for more, just believe that you can have it, but look into doing the work, like look into personal development, look into getting a coach. And look at yourself. What am I actually doing with my life? Like, what do I actually want? Is my actions that I'm taking every day going to get me to £20,000 a month, or is my actions every day going to get me the man of my dreams? If I'm in my dressing gown all day and walking my kids to school in my pajamas, like, is that going to get you your guy? You know, so it's like asking yourself, what is it I want, and knowing that it all comes within you. It's not out there, it's in here, and you can literally do it. And as we said, it really, life can be really hard sometimes, but I do believe that life happens for us, not to us. So it's how you look at things. And there's a beautiful quote, and I said it on my coaching call on Monday. When you change the way you look at things, the way you look at things change. And so when you change the way you look at things, the way you look at things change. And I'll just give an example of like why that resonates with me so much. So when I was young, when I had my boy and everything like that, I used to think, I'm so lonely, I'm so unsupported, no one's there for me. And that was my reality. I felt unsupported, I was lonely, no one was there for me. As soon as I started to look at things differently, I started to see the support I do have around me. Do have people who love me. I am supported, but I was so concentrated on what I didn't have. I completely was oblivious to what I do have. And we can really go through life like that. And I think it's really important to look at the stuff that you do have. Do you know what I mean? But there's another thing that I could easily go into.
Oh my God, that's a whole other topic. It's so true though. Like, when you're there's another quote, we love a good quote. Quote. Energy grows where attention goes. So if you're focusing on the shits, that's gonna just keep coming to you. That's why, don't worry. So popularly that if you're focusing on the shit is gonna grow. If you switch it to the good stuff, even if it could be so hard to try and find that good stuff, but there will still always be good stuff. That's why we're so big on like writing our gratitude every day and all that kind of stuff. Just thinking about what you're grateful for. You know, sometimes I have days when I wake up and I'm like, oh, what have I got to be grateful for today? And then I'll be like, oh, this cup of coffee, which is actually really nice. The sun is shining. I've just woken up from a really nice sleep. My flat is nice and warm. I've got a roof over my head. Boom, 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 boom. There's so much to be grateful for, even if an event hasn't happened. And when your focus goes there, everything starts to change. You have to recognize that, and you have to make that switch. Otherwise you're going to just be in this cycle, aren't you? Just more shit.
No, I totally agree. And I think gratitude, if anyone doesn't know about gratitude, look up gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful things you can give to yourself. And it's really important to just be grateful for you just being here every day, because you know what, you are meant to be here. You matter, you're loved, you're supported, you're accepted. And just be grateful to being in this world. Even if things are going on around you, there's something always to be grateful for.
I love that. I think that's the perfect place to like end this, because that's just, I love that. Before we close up, let's just rewind to Soul Family. Where can we find Soul Family? If someone's listening to this and they're like, oh my God, like I need this in my life, where do they go? What do they do?
So I've got a website, which is www.soulfamilyglobal.com. So we can connect over there. You just need to put your name and your email and then leave the rest to me. We're on Facebook as Soul Family, and on Instagram, soulfamily_connect. And I would absolutely love to connect with anyone who's listening. If anything resonates with you at all, I'd love to hear from you.
Amazing. And your Instagram, where can people find you?
So I'm Lena_L_Queen.
Love it. Can we just discuss that your surname is Queen? Like, how sick is that? You're literally like Miss Queen. Like, actually.
I'm Miss Queen. Frankie's not happy about it, really.
I can imagine.
Like Mr. Queen, like I know on the register as well, it always says your last name first. So he's like Queen Frankie. So he's like,
stop.
But yeah, I'm kind of like, is that why I'm not married yet? Because I just really don't want to give away my last name.
If I were you, I would keep that. I would have the hyphen, Lena Queen something.
Yeah, I'm not being funny. Whoever, I'm single, by the way, guys. So if
anyone goes on Lena's Instagram and thinks, yeah, she's a bit all right, hit up her DMs.
Yeah, hit up my DM, but just know that I'm keeping my last name if you do want to marry me, okay?
I love that. Well, thank you so much, babes, for coming on. That has been amazing. We could have carried on chatting about so many different things. So I feel like we're going to have to get you back at some point.
Yes.
We'll continue our chats and you can give us an update on Soul Family.
Thank you for having me, babe, and continue to do the amazing work that you are doing as well.
Thank you so much, my love. All right, babes. Thank you, and I will speak to you soon. Bye, guys. Thanks for listening.